Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're playing Don't Starve and I'm going to give you guys a really big beginner help on using Maxwell and how you can acquire a lot of nightmare fuel within the first couple of days for free, really easily, very low cost. But of course there are some setbacks as well because this method may lead to certain problems, but I'll discuss that towards the end of this video. Now, a very popular way for players to acquire nightmare fuel is obviously by hunting down the shadow creatures. But the point of hunting down the shadow creatures is you need to summon 6 different servants so that you can drop your sanity by 90 and you start seeing shadowy creatures during the dusk and at night. So the issue there is obviously if you encounter a Terrorbeak, that might end your run, or while kiting these enemies you might just receive extra damage and then you just die like that. So before getting any strong equipment, I think it's best if we play it safe. So let's take a look at what the strategy is. So right now I am starting a brand new world and I'm gonna be using Maxwell. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is probably just pick up a couple of stuff. So maybe like 2 twigs and just a couple of grass, just to make sure that you have enough resources to start a fire if you need to, right? Because we may extend beyond a single day. And if you encounter berry bushes, just pick them up so that there is a constant source of food. Alright, now the next thing that we want to do is to get at least 1 single piece of gold so that we can craft the science station. That is our next goal. And also if you encounter forests such as these, where there is just a really dense cluster of trees, then I think it's also a pretty good idea to drop one of your servants here just to pick up some of the logs. And all we really need is just about 1 stack of logs, or at most 2 stacks, which one servant is able to acquire just like that. And now while the servant is busy hacking away, we can go ahead and pick up any of the saplings over here, and of course any of the loot that is being dropped onto the floor. Now while you're scavenging around the world, a good advice is to not stray too far away from your servant, if not they will actually despawn. So I think their despawn radius is about 2 screens. That's just an estimate over here, about 2 screens apart from the servant, and then he will disappear and you recover your maximum sanity. So let's just try to avoid it. Now, it is extremely important that we have a bunch of saplings because we're not going to have enough access to them for the time being. So just try to pick up as many saplings as you can along the way. Okay, now that we have more than a couple of stacks just from one servant itself, we need to find a savanna biome. So pressing M, you can take a look at the map here and you see that there is a hint of a savanna. So we're actually going to go over there. Now, what makes the savanna such a great place is because of the rabbit spawns that it has. So all these rabbit holes, make sure you don't get rid of them. Just build a lot of traps because we are going to have to trap quite a bunch of rabbits. But of course, there are some setbacks, like I said, which I will discuss towards the end of this video. So a trap only costs you 2 twigs and 6 cut grass, which you would have abundance of in the savannah. So don't worry too much about your cut grass. You might want to worry a little bit more about your twigs, which is why I stress on having to harvest a little bit of twigs along the way. Now, before I forget, it's also extremely important that we have a single piece of gold. So we definitely need to try to find that 1 single piece of gold. Now, if you're not able to find any source of gold, you might want to try some of these forests, especially the spider forest, because there is a slight chance that you'll be able to find a single gold vein. Okay, what do you know? We jumped right into a spider forest. So just keep your eyes peeled for any gold vein. Alright, we made it. So 1 single piece of gold, and I'm just going to use my servant to mine it. So that's the perk of using Maxwell after all, right? You don't need any pickaxes, you don't need any axes as well. You can just let your minion do its own thing. And oh my god, we got a conspicuous chest as well. Okay, let's get lucky over here. Alright, what did we get? What did we get? Okay, shift. Very nice. Okay, nice. We got gold. Oh my goodness, it just dawned on me as well. Now, another thing, if you do encounter some of these spider nests, it might be a really good idea to just get rid of some of them so that you can get a few silk in the early game so that you can make a magician's top hat as soon as possible for some extra inventory space. Okay, now that we are back at our temporary little hideout here, we are actually going to craft a science station. This is going to be like just an early game base. We are just going to stay here for like maybe 5 days at most. So with the science station, we can craft the wall. Now the wall is super important because we're going to abuse this wall system so that we can capture a lot of bunnies and then convert them into nightmare fuel. So you want to have quite a couple of walls. In fact, I think it's best to have 20 walls. Okay, but thankfully we are still in the savannah, so it's very easy for us to obtain all of these grass. Now, I know some of you guys might be thinking, isn't it very expensive to be using all of these resources just to craft whatever that I'm about to craft? Well, the answer is yes, but the thing is, as Maxwell, you don't really need to have certain equipment. You wouldn't need to have a pickaxe, you wouldn't need to have an axe as well because you have your servants to do that. So all you really need is just a hammer and a shovel, basically. Now, the shovel is extremely important for Maxwell mains because it's a really good idea to pick up all of these grass that you find along the way as well as the saplings. So we're going to be building a rabbit pen, so we're going to have 4 walls long and about 4 walls wide as well. Now we're going to have to leave 1 opening so that we can access it, and that is why we have a little bit more than 16 walls. Alright, and just block it off like that. And that's it. This is the temporary rabbit pen. Okay, ignore the fact that I accidentally unleashed the Eye of Terror. Okay, so now that we have set all of these traps, they should have rabbits by now, right? So let's just go ahead and pick up all of these rabbits. Please don't attack me. Oh my god. Please do not attack me. Okay, I'll need to have some melee support. Okay, so the thing is, the number of spaces that we have in the pen would correspond to the number of rabbits that we can put in at any one time. So for example, we have a 4x4 space here, which means we can put a maximum of 16 rabbits over here. Any more than that will actually overspill a little bit. But I know we do have some extra space here, but we do not really want to have rabbits over here because we need to try to enter it and make sure that they do not run as well. So that's the whole point of this extra passageway. So I think a good start is probably to have about 9 of these traps somewhere around, if you can afford it, right? But for this showcase, I'm just going to show you how we can just chuck them in without having to open, drop them inside, and then quickly rush out and repair the wall. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to drop them at the side like that. It might take a few tries, but eventually you will be able to just trick them right into the pen. Alright, there goes one rabbit inside like that, and now they're stuck here perpetually. Okay, there we go. All the rabbits are finally inside. So the thing is, you can opt to put more traps, but I think in the early game it's a little bit expensive, so I think it's fine if you are able to access beefaloes, for example, for the manure, so that you can collect all of these grass and then fertilize it afterwards. But what we need to do right now is to just wait for night to fall. So as soon as night falls, the rabbits will fall asleep, and then we can go ahead, use the Codex Umbra. Actually, we can do the Shadow Sneak right now. So we can just Shadow Sneak over here, right? Make sure they are running over to this area here, and they're all just going to convert into Beardlings. So all these Beardlings, the moment you kill them, they're just going to drop 1 nightmare fuel. But like I said, I think it's best if you have 16 rabbits here, so that you acquire the maximum number of nightmare fuel with the least resources. Because every single time you use Shadow Snake, that's going to cost you 5 durability of your Codex Umbra, which you want to avoid as well. Now, if you're not able to have access to manure, these juicy berries are really good for rotting, and you're able to fertilize your grass that you have transported over to your temporary base. Okay, now that they're all asleep, we can actually go ahead, plant a campfire here, so that we can just open the wall and start hacking away at the sleeping rabbits. Okay, as you can see, they are not able to bypass me, and they're just running away from me. So even though we messed up, we can still go ahead and kill the rabbits like so. And that's it. So we acquired 5 nightmare fuel and a couple of monster meat, which is really good if you have a bird pen as well. So this is a really simple setup of how you can acquire a lot of nightmare fuel at the start. I know it took us quite a few days, but the thing is, as soon as you have all of these set up, it's only going to take you like I said, right, another 5 days being over here, and you should have a lot of nightmare fuel to be used. Now just make sure that you're always repairing your hay wall so that they don't get to run out, and you can do so by just using a single grass piece like so. Repair. And there you go. Now the rabbits are not able to escape afterwards. Okay, now for some issues with this build. So the thing is, even Beardlings, even though they are considered monsters, they are also considered innocent creatures, which means killing too many of them at once is going to increase your naughtiness score. And if your naughtiness score increases up to like 30 to 50, Krampus will actually spawn, and Krampus is something that you don't want to deal with at the start. So I think it's a good idea to take it slow. Don't go crazy and have like 50 rabbits all in at once and then you kill all of them together. That is actually going to increase your naughtiness all the way to 50, and you're surely going to encounter Krampus. Okay, so anyway, this is the end of the guide. This is a really simple setup, but I do not recommend that you just hover around this place for too long. So maybe like come back every other day just to make sure that the traps are trapping stuff, because the rabbits do take some time to respawn after all. So it doesn't make sense for you to waste one entire day just waiting for the rabbits to come out. Just spend every alternate day just moving around the map, acquiring stuff like stone and gold, which are currently very low on, and make sure that you craft both a shovel and a hammer, so that when you're done with this base, you can just hammer things away and collect the extra rewards and move on to a more permanent base afterwards. But anyway, I hope this video helped you in one way or another. If you did, don't forget the thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Don't Starve videos. Now with that said, this has been Dare Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.